of Street, Goldsboro, and the Virgin Islands was charged with possession with intent to sell and deliver 7 grams of cocaine. Bond for the suspect was set at $100,000. A charge of robbery of the Highway 70 East Quick Mart last night was lodged against 29-year-old Anthony Wayne Morton of Brock Road, Goldsboro, following investigation by Wayne County Sheriff's Department. The suspect's bond was set at $20,000. Sheriff Sergeant Mitchell Jones spotted the vehicle parked behind the shortstop convenience store on Highway 111. That vehicle was occupied by 4 individuals, and the officer said the store attendant identified one of those as the suspect who allegedly robbed the store. The clerk told officers a white male entered with a pocket knife and demanded money. A Route 11 Goldsboro man, 24-year-old Eric Earl Moore, told Goldsboro police he was shot in the upper left hip on Lincoln Drive while getting into a car. Moore said he did not hear a shot, did not see anything, but a relative of the victim told an officer they were walking down Olivia Lane when a car with 3 or 4 black males pulled up, and one of those started shooting from the car. Police were unable to get a description of the car or the occupants. Congressman Martin Lancaster has asked for a study by the Congressional Budget Office to determine the cost of the Department of Defense ban on smoking in the workplace, which will take effect April 8th. The 3rd District Congressman has asked for the cost estimates on loss of productivity resulting from smokers traveling to and from smoking areas during breaks, the cost of shelters, which will be built under the new policy, and also the cost of implementing and running smoker cessation programs. Congressman Lancaster advised the Congressional Budget Office by letter that an indoor smoking ban implemented at about 180 Veterans Administration's hospitals had been reversed, and the cost of constructing $12,000 shelters was one of the reasons Congress reversed the ban. As a member of the House Armed Services Committee, Lancaster is concerned about putting the policy into effect. He sees new costs being incurred in providing smoke-free areas away from common points of ingress and egress into the workplace, as well as for instruction for comprehensive cessation programs. He also wants an analysis of the cost of the lost productivity resulting from smokers leaving their workplace, going outside, smoking, and returning to the workplace. The approximately 35 people who make up the asbestos section for the state will become the lead enforcement section, according to comments by Steve Williams in addressing the Goldsboro Kiwanis Club yesterday. Williams is working with the Goldsboro Housing Authority. He told Kiwanians that only one new piece of legislation relative to lead in the environment has been approved recently, and that legislation is directed to landlords and real estate people.
It's just terribly hard to look at a buyer and say, here's a poisoning hazard here. It makes life kind of miserable. But full disclosure is the absolute only safe thing to do. If you've got property and it's got it, if it was built before 78, it's going to have it. If somebody asks you, you may as well disclose it.
I'm Wayne Alley.
Is your car or truck getting the oil protection it needs? Be sure. Switch to Phillips 66 Trop Arctic Premium Quality All-Season Motor Oil in the Classic Gold bottle. Phillips 66 Trop Arctic Motor Oil meet or exceed new car makers' warranty requirements. Phillips 66 Trop Arctic Motor Oils are a blend of high-quality base oils and selected additives that give you a premium quality all-season motor oil. Available at a Phillips 66 station near you. Phillips 66 products, distributed by Griffin Oil Company, 511 South John Street, Goldsboro.
You're searching for the best deal on a program car? Stop the search and head to Leith of Goldsboro today. Leith Chrysler, Plymouth Jeep Eagle, and Leith Dodge Isuzu has a lot of great deals for you. Leith has reduced the prices and increased the selection of program cars. Check out a 93 Dodge Dynasty, only $11,895 or as low as $189 per month. Leith Chrysler, Plymouth Jeep Eagle, and Leith Dodge Isuzu, Highway 70 West, Goldsboro. Tax tag and $138 dock fee or extra. Payments based on 20% down, cash or trade for 60 months at 7.95 APR.
A pair of cold fronts to our northwest should rush through the area tonight and tomorrow, dropping our high temperatures by as much as 15 or 20 degrees. Our forecast for this afternoon, partly cloudy, breezy, and quite warm. The high today reaching around 71 to 76 degrees. Then tonight, partly cloudy skies, lows dropping off to about 40 to 45. For Wednesday, we'll look for mostly sunny skies. It'll be windy and much cooler. The high tomorrow only 55 to 60. At the Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Mike Moss.
One might say that there is no future in history. This is a sad day for many of America's special interest groups who have sought to blame white Europeans for all of the evils, including medical evils and physical evils, that visited this nation upon the arrival of those white European males. A bad day indeed. It's also the day after the very first ever President Bill Clinton wine-in. Whoa, mama!
This is a special edition of the Rush Limbaugh program.
Yay up!
America Held Hostage.
Keep floating.
And now, from our studios in New York City, here is Rush Limbaugh.
Yes, sir. It's raw deal day count time. 4:18 today for the poor and the middle class. Day 439 for the rich, tax avoiders, and the dead. 1,042 days of whining, temper tantrums, and diversions left to go in the Clinton administration. Greetings, friends. Happy you're with us. Rush Limbaugh, New York, ensconced firmly behind the golden EIB microphone, the only golden microphone known to exist in the world of broadcasting. We safely say that, can't we? You watch, there'll be others pop up. Theirs, of course, will be gold-plated, as opposed to ours, which is not. Phone number, if you want to be on the program today, is 1-800-282-2882. Now, I'm going to, a little change of pace here, folks. Before we get to the latest Whitewater, Arkansas ethical lapse subject matter, and there are reams of papers here today to bring to that discussion topic. There's a lot of other stuff in the news, and I just want to touch on it. I want to go through my stack of stuff here, and we will then move on to some of the other things. First off, what I referred to immediately upon the beginning of the program, it's bad news today for feminists, bad news for historians, bad news for science, bad news for everybody out there who thought that Christopher Columbus was the single focus of all evil that found its way to these shores in the year 1492, because people can no longer blame Christopher Columbus for bringing tuberculosis, TB, to the New World. Science found a 1,000-year-old mummy who has provided scientists hard evidence that TB existed in the Americas long before Europeans and their diseases arrived in 1492. In other words, there are other diseases as well that may have been here long before Chris Columbus and his band of pirates and sexists and homophobes and land destroyers set foot on these shores. And the same genetic technique that used to find TB infection in a mummy also could provide clues to the origins of AIDS, malaria, and other diseases, according to Science today in the journal National Academy of Scientists, or Science Says. So this is a big myth that's gone down the only thing that confuses me is science is never wrong. You know, on this program, when I disputed this, and you people out there know who you are, you scientists called in here and said, shut up. You have no right to talk about this because you're not a scientist. You can't say that. I got hate mail on CompuServe any time I would just... And there's other stuff like this, and I've written about it in my second book, about how the land that Chris Columbus discovered was not pristine, that the ancient Aztecs or the Mayans practically irrigated themselves out of existence because they dug so low they got salt in their groundwater, and that the environmental destruction was in full-fledged force long before Chris Columbus got here. And these scientists out there, you shut up. You have no right. You don't know. Who are you? You're just a radio talk show host. Yes, but I'm the intellectual leader of a movement at the same time. And that, my friend, I have had that title bestowed upon me by no less than the chairman of the Democratic National Committee. Periscope section, Newsweek magazine. President Clinton periodically turns to the Reagan handbook for tips on appearing presidential. The latest to occur. You know, he used a lot of the president's techniques in his State of the Union show, and he's borrowed heavily from many. Well, that's what it was. He's borrowed heavily from the president's technique. There's no question about that. Everybody commented on that. Not just me. You know, a lot of you political scientists are out there saying, you shut up. What do you know? You're just a radio talk show host. You can't say that. Well, I have been saying it, and now further evidence that what I'm saying I know to be right. So do you. The White House has requested videotapes from the Reagan Presidential Library of Reagan's speeches at Normandy for the 40th anniversary of D-Day. You remember when Reagan went over there, those were some of the most gut-wrenching speeches that Reagan's ever given, and Clinton's asked to see tapes of them. because it says he is studying every aspect of Reagan's trip very closely, since Clinton will be heading there himself in June for the 50th anniversary. Can you believe that? I would suggest, I know you people at the White House are listening, what you ought to do is send in a request to the Reagan Presidential Library for the farewell address and take some tips there. In Detroit yesterday, the president went out to address the G7 ministers on employment, jobs, and this is a joke. Ladies and gentlemen, for one thing, there's not much that these nations can learn from one another about jobs, economies, and that kind of thing, because situations are different from country to country. Monetary policy is different, governmental economic policy is different. And once again, the president went out there and told the Japanese that they need to stimulate their economy by cutting taxes. He actually said he's got an audience of American people, and he's out there telling the Japanese that they have got to cut their taxes. He told the Germans and the Europeans they got to lower their interest rates. I don't know if you've noticed it or not, but our interest rates are going back up, and they're going up at a fairly rapid clip. Now, I would like to offer as a service of the Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies Economic Think Tank Division a plan to create more jobs. And I know you're listening down there at the White House. If you're really serious about creating more jobs, the first thing you do is cut taxes. Realize that your taxes cut jobs. If you want to get jobs, cut taxes. Number two, we need a 2-year moratorium on all logging restrictions. A 2-year delay in Americans with Disability Act implementation. A 4-year delay in employer pay health care mandates. In fact, more than a 4-year delay. We need to just get that idea off the table so that business can be freed up with the business of doing business. We need to relax the overly idealistic, overly expensive environmental standards that we have implemented with the Clean Air Act by 5% and cut or index the capital gains rate to inflation. We have carefully studied this matter at the Limbaugh Institute, and if those steps were taken, get out of the way for the growing economy. The question is, do you want more jobs, Mr. President? Do you really want more jobs, or do you just want to fool around and tinker as a policy wonk? This was in USA Today yesterday. This is one of the most incredible stories, and it is probably a story that has aroused in me more incredulity than anything in a long time. Every woman who walks into a doctor's office should be considered a possible victim of domestic violence. That's the message the president-elect of the American Medical Association delivered yesterday when 440 health and legal professionals met on family violence. Robert McAfee says doctors and their staffs can reduce violence by recognizing signs of abuse, such as when a man calls to cancel a woman's medical appointment. 10,000 doctors so far have joined the AMA's physicians campaign against family violence, and McAfee hopes that'll expand to include all 300,000 members. The group develops guidelines for doctors on how to identify and treat violence patients. Of the 2.5 million female violent crime victims every year, 2/3 are attacked by family members or other people they know. So now we've expanded the definition of guilt. Anytime a woman goes to a doctor, she's probably there, likely there, because of abuse by her husband or some family member. It used to be that you had to wait for the accusation. The woman just had to say, "He beat me up," and the man was automatically guilty. Now, according to the AMA, every woman who walks into a doctor's office for whatever reason should be considered a possible victim of domestic violence. That means that every man in this country who knows a woman who goes to the doctor is now to be suspected of treating her violently. Ross Perot surfaced. I predicted this. Did I not tell you? Everybody, I remember not long ago, snurdly said, "Where's Perot?" I said, hey, he's preparing his onslaught on health care. He goes dormant for a while, and every time he comes out of dormancy, he's got a brand new, well-orchestrated, finely honed, extremely detailed plan for whatever it is he's going to do next. Well, his next plan is put patients first. And yesterday, Perot spoke to the American College of Cardiology Convention. And here's what he did. He offered a deal to all of the nation's doctors. If every one of you, every doctor out there, here's a number. He gave, I saw this speech, he gave about 14 numbers, 13 addresses. Every other sentence he stopped. Now, we got that phone number over there. If you want to contribute, call 1-900 or 1-800 or 455, whatever the number was. There were a bunch of them. There were charts, but we didn't see the charts. The C-SPAN camera was fixed on Perot. Didn't see any chart. Didn't see any of these numbers. This is the thing. He said, I'm going to be doing a lot of speeches. You want C-SPAN to carry them, just let them know. I'm sure they will. Ross Perot has offered every doctor this deal. If they send him $1,000 each, he'll come up with a health plan more to their liking than Clinton's. And to underline his sincerity, Perot offered to kick in $1 million of his own. Said the money would be used for TV time. Predicted this, told you Perot was going to come back, told you Perot had to come back opposed to health care. He did show that flowchart that we've shown you on television that Dick Armey's office produced, and he said it is a system that is designed to fail. The Clintons are not going to like this. Think what you will of Perot. He is a thorn in your side, and if Perot comes out against this, as he has now, as I predicted that he would, then it's going to be all that much more to react to that the Clintons are going to have out there, and they can't lay it off now totally on Republicans. There's going to be a little general out there who's also going to be acting in their against their best interests, and so they're going to feel even more under siege in the White House. They're going to feel like even more people are against them. New York Times today, the front page story, latest poll finds the public is still doubtful over the costs of the Clinton health care plan. 6 months after unveiling the plan with a flourish, the administration has made almost no progress in convincing Americans that its approach will solve the nation's health care problems. It's a New York Times CBS poll, front page. 6 months, wasted time. Hillary, I'm beginning to think Hillary's a Republican mole. I want you to follow me on this, folks. I've been, as I'm sure a lot of you have, sitting around thinking about some of this. All the CIA stuff in the mail with in the news, Aldrich Ames, an alleged mole. Is Hillary, in truth, a Republican? You know, she used to be a Goldwater gal. She used to be big in the Goldwater campaign. But could she be a Republican plant, a Republican mole in the White House? Could anyone, particularly anyone as brilliant as Hillary Clinton, the smartest woman maybe to have ever trod the soil of the blessed earth, be so destructive unintentionally? Look at her appointments. Bye-bye Webb Hubbell. Bye-bye Vince Foster. So long Bernie Nussbaum. Look at the health care plan. It's a joke. It's so convoluted, prepared in such secrecy, that not even Democrats are united behind it. That's another thing. You hear Clinton, we're going to play some cuts for you from a Clinton whine-in last night, his speech in Boston. And a couple of points to make after it. One of those points is, hey, it's not just Republicans who are opposing the president everywhere along. Don't forget, use your memories, folks. Use your brains. When you hear him complain about how the Republicans are out there saying, no, 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 no. Remember, if it weren't Republicans, for Republicans, he wouldn't have gotten anything he wanted passed this year other than his economic plan. He wouldn't have gotten NAFTA. He wouldn't have gotten a whole lot of stuff. It's Democrats who have broken ranks. It's Moynihan and his crowd that have been openly hostile and critical to the president. But look at Mrs. Clinton. Look at her behind-the-scenes maneuvering. Everything she's done. She brought in her cronies. She's brought in some of her own staff. Janet Reno is a joke. I think the next one that's going to have some negative stuff about her down the line has to happen is Donna Shalala. It's almost as though she's a Republican plant. I know she's not, but it's almost as though she is. In New York City, Mayor Giuliani wants welfare recipients to work. People on welfare would have to clean streets and scrub graffiti. We are winning. Mayor Giuliani, this is a great mayor. This is a great, everything he said he was going to do, he's doing. And then some. Today is a big day for Dan Rostenkowski. Primary election day in Chicago. Here's a conventional thinking. Rosti goes in up 5 points in pre-election polls. Not good. 32% of the electorate undecided. That many people undecided with only a 5-point lead by the incumbent. Many polls are predicting defeat today for Dan Rostenkowski. We'll keep a sharp eye. Also, big news from the February issue of the American Spectator. It may be what Jim Leash's bombshells are. All that, plus the president last night at his first ever wine-in. After this.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
As you know, we do have that new sponsor, so listen up, folks. It's the Florida Department of Citrus. Citrus means oranges and grapefruits. There are a lot of reasons for you people to start each day with a large glass of orange juice from Florida. Good health reasons, and you're going to be hearing me tell you a lot about these health reasons. This is a very long relationship we have with these people, and these commercials are going to be informative, educational, and hopefully persuasive. But I want to tell you something else. In addition to all the health reasons about Florida oranges, I want to tell you about the orange growers, who they are. They are the people who make this country work. Many of them have family businesses, been around for years. Today, there are more than 12,000 citrus growers cultivating 92 million citrus trees on over 791,000 acres of Florida land. More than 144,000 other people also work in the citrus industry. And all this generates $8 billion annually to the state of Florida. You buy Florida orange juice, empty the shelves, drink it, and love it. Look for the Florida Sunshine Tree. It means the whole thing is Florida oranges.
Well, hi there. This is Harry Martin, and I have great news from Arctic Spray. Now, with this one non-aerosol pump spray bottle, you can spray away the pains of arthritis and muscular pains. And get this, with Arctic Spray, you can also spray away the pains of tendonitis and sunburn. Just aim and spray for longer lasting relief. Spray the pain away with Arctic Spray. Get Arctic Spray at Walgreens, Faze, Thrifty, Good Neighbor Pharmacy, Save On Drug, Fred Meyer, and Osco Drug. Use only as directed.
There are times when you're just going to have one of those days. You know the type. A day gone bad before it even gets going. Bad attitude, bad vibes, bad blood. All before a bad breakfast. Did I mention bad breath? Well, I was having one of those days when the husband comes on in from the field where we'll soon be transplanting tobacco. And he says, "Honey, we got nematodes and soil insects." Now, I'm in no mood for nematodes and soil insects. Dear heart, I say, why don't you apply MoCap? MoCap brand nematicide insecticide. Because I'm in no mood for nematodes and soil insects.
MoCap, MoCap, when tobacco bugs are bugging you.
Same movies all month long. Stations you don't like. A bill that gets bigger as the service gets smaller. Sound familiar? Yes, it sounds like I'm tied to the railroad tracks and your snidely whiplash. AIM Electronics has the answer to the TV blues. The Tar Heel antenna, specially made for this area, picks up both UHF and VHF frequency, giving you the area stations you want with great reception at just $49.95, and there's no monthly bill. AIM Electronics, 411 East Ash Street, Goldsboro.
Need furniture? Need credit? Need them now? Waynesboro Furniture has a plan that will answer those questions and more, with special pay plans for those who need it now, including military E1 and up. Contact Waynesboro Furniture and find out how you can get automatic approval and quick delivery without delay. Living room, dining room, bedroom furniture, and mattresses. Buy now, delivery now, and pay later. Get complete details at Waynesboro Furniture, your mattress outlet, 119 North Center Street, downtown Goldsboro.
Rush Limbaugh program, here to remind you that evidence refutes liberalism. It's called The Truth, and it is our objective every day. Happy you're with us, 1-800-282-2882. Let's grab a couple phone calls here. I have decided we're going to get to the actuality, that's called clip, some audio tape of the president's speech last night to a $1,000 a plate fundraiser, Democratic National Committee in Boston. First, Nashua, New Hampshire. Roger, hi. Welcome to the EIB Network.
How are you, Rush?
Hi.
Double dittos from Nashua, New Hampshire.
Great to hear from you. Isn't the president there?
He's here.
Yeah, he was I know he spent the night in New Hampshire last night. Is he in Nashua, actually?
Yeah, I think he's ready to take off right now to Keene, New Hampshire. He's visiting our company out there.
All right. Anyway, what's up?
Well, he was here this morning. That's the reason I'm calling. He spoke at Elm Street Junior High School. He get about 8 questions from the audience, and about 4 were on health care. There's a couple about the budget deficit and 1 on 4 and 8. And the answers that he, well, of course, this is all my opinion. It's just the typical fluff that I think he's been feeding us all along.
There was not one question about White Watergate.
No, there was a comment from somebody in the audience saying whitewater is for what it should be, and that's for whitewater rafting. And that's the only thing that was said.
Well, I guess it just goes to prove my contention yesterday that you people just don't really care about it. If the president has a town meeting and it takes 8 questions and not one of them is dealing with whitewater, I guess nobody cares. I mean, the odds, the law of averages defies that. Nobody cares. There can actually be no concern whatsoever. If not one question's about that,
Nothing. The majority of the audience was mostly Democrat anyway.
Oh, that must explain it.
You got that right.
Yes, that must explain it. Well, you never know how these town meetings go. It sounds like it was nothing really energetic or worthwhile, was it? I mean, was it something of uplifting nature?
My opinion, no.
Okay, well, there you have it. On the spot EIB reporter attending a Clinton town meeting reporting that nobody in New Hampshire cares about White Watergate, just as I suspected yesterday. But that will not deter us here.
You're guaranteed a good night's rest at Hampton Inn.
When I got to travel on business overnight, I know I'm going to feel good in the morning.
They promise my room will be clean and fresh, and it is.
I'm guaranteed I'll be satisfied, or my night stay is free. For a comfortable stay at a competitive price, experienced travelers trust Hampton Inn. You'll be satisfied. We guarantee it. Call 1-800-HAMPTON now for reservations. Hampton Inn is proud to offer AT&T in-room long-distance service for your AT&T calling card and operator-assisted calls.
This is WGBR News, Goldsboro's very own.
This is Wayne Alley. A fire on the second floor of the residence at 101 South Georgia Avenue yesterday resulted in 33-year-old Robert Hill being taken to the burn center in Chapel Hill. WGBR News sources indicated Hill was asleep when the fire started in a closet in an upstairs room and was on the roof of the house when firemen arrived on the scene. One source said Hill suffered first and second-degree burns to 80% of his upper body and third-degree burns to the upper arm. The fire was said to be between Hill and the exit. He was burned getting out, suffering burns to the head, neck, body trunk, back, arm, and hand. Fireman Gilbert Hare brought Hill down from the roof of the burning house.
He climbed out of the second-story window and walked along the edge of the house and got onto a smaller roof on the porch. And I went there, got him off the roof with a ladder.
He was burned and getting out.
He was burned getting out of the house.
All right, sir. Lucky to be alive.
He sure is.
Goldsboro fireman Gilbert Hare. Firemen think a combustible too close to a heat source was responsible for that fire. A charge of robbery of the Highway 70 East Quick Mart last night was lodged against 29-year-old Anthony Wayne Morton of Brock Road, Goldsboro, following investigation by Wayne County Sheriff's Department. The suspect's bond was set at $20,000. Sheriff Sergeant Mitchell Jones spotted the vehicle parked behind the short-stop convenience store on Highway 111. That vehicle was occupied by 4 individuals, and the officer said the store attendant identified one of those individuals as the suspect who allegedly robbed the store. The clerk told officers a white male entered with a pocket knife and demanded money. Congressman Martin Lancaster has asked for a study by the Congressional Budget Office to determine the cost of the Department of Defense ban on smoking in the workplace, which will take effect April 8th. The 3rd District Congressman has asked for cost estimates on loss of productivity resulting from smokers traveling to and from smoking areas during breaks, also the cost of shelters which will be built under the new policy, and also the cost of implementing and running smoker cessation programs. Congressman Lancaster advised the Congressional Budget Office by letter that an indoor smoking ban implemented at about 180 Veterans Administration's hospitals had been reversed, and the cost of constructing $12,000 shelters was one of the reasons Congress reversed that ban. As a member of the House Armed Services Committee, Lancaster's concerned about putting the policy into effect. He sees new costs being incurred in providing smoke-free areas away from common points of ingress and egress into the workplace, as well as for instruction for comprehensive cessation programs. I'm Wayne Alley.
We've got a sudden change in comfort level on the way as this afternoon's warm southwesterly winds give way to a chilly blast from the north by tomorrow. Our forecast for this afternoon, partly cloudy, breezy, and quite warm. The high today reaching 71 to 76 degrees. Then tonight, partly cloudy, lows dropping off to around 40 to 45. And for tomorrow, mostly sunny skies. It'll be windy and much cooler, though. The high tomorrow only reaching 55 to 60. At the Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Mike Moss.
WGBR.
Half my brains hide behind my back, just to make it fair. Rush Limbaugh, New York, EIB Network. Talent. Oh, so much talent. On loan. From God. One of the few talk shows with a host with character, because character matters. Every time we play that, people say, what was it? That's Gary Glitter, Rock and Roll Part 2, 1973. You might think that Rock and Roll Part 1 is better. It isn't. Don't even ask for it. Ask for Rock and Roll Part 2. Cellular call, Edgeville, South Carolina. Stan, welcome to the broadcast.
It's an honor, Rush.
Thank you for calling, sir.
Truly an honor. What I wanted to say, last night on Nightline, they showed a little clip of Clinton. I guess he was speaking in Detroit.
No, it was in Boston. Well, wait a minute. Which clip were you referring to?
Well, it's the one where he started talking about what the Republicans or how they stand against him.
That was Boston. We have that clip. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just amazed at the fact that he can sit there and accuse the Republicans of what the Democrats are guilty of. This bipartisan or this partisan stance against him is nothing more than what the Democrats have been doing for the past 12 years.
Precisely.
And it's upsetting that he can stand up and say those things.
Why?
And, well,
why is it upsetting? It ought to be instructive. This is whining first class. You'd have to search the archives of presidential libraries all day and all night. You'd have a long search before you found video examples of presidential behavior such as that exhibited last night by President Clinton.
I agree, and it astounds me that we have a leader of this country doing that. You've never seen a Republican president stand up and take the stance that Clinton took.
Let me tell you,
it was very disturbing to see that.
We're going to play that clip for you now, but let me tell you where it comes from, so you can understand it, Stan. And thanks for the call. I know you're on a cellular call. Want to save your big bucks for your health care insurance premium, so we'll let you go. Thanks very much. I'll tell you where it comes from. These people, folks, you got to believe me. You just got to believe me. I know this stuff. I know these people like the backs of my hand. I grew up with people like this. They are of my generation, these 60s people who tuned out and turned on and believed it when guys like Timothy Leary and everybody else told them that they were the moral conscience of the future. As a result, they grew up thinking that they're above everything else, that they are on a mission to clean up all that they think is wrong. And they cannot understand criticism of what they do. They don't understand why everybody is just not down on their hands and knees praising these people for their goodness and for their lovingness and for their sincerity. Here is the president last night. That's why we call it the first presidential whine-in. You'll see what I mean.
Why then are we confronted in this administration with an opposition party that just stands up and says, no, 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 no? When I was a Democratic governor and they had the White House, I constantly sought them out, engaged them in debate, offered to work with them on issues from education to welfare reform to crime to you name it. I never did them the way they are doing us in Washington, D.C. today. It is wrong, and it is not good for the United States of America.
Oh, somebody opposes what the White House wants to do. Oh, it's so sorry. Well, let me help. I can explain this to you, Mr. President. In the first place, the reason why Republicans are saying no, 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 no. And by the way, there are a lot of Democrats out there who are also saying no, 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 no. The reason why Republicans are saying no, 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 no is exactly what I said yesterday. This is the arena of ideas, and there are people who disagree with you because you are wrong, 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 wrong. It's no more complicated than that. It's not personal. It's just that you are wrong, 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 wrong. And you know how to get people to stop saying no, 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 no? It's as Senator Cohen said last night on Nightline. Say yes. Say yes to a full-fledged investigation. Just open it all up. You've got problems out there because the way everybody's dropping like flies and the way you people are handling all this and Whitewater Gate and everything else, you are arousing more suspicion every day. It's human nature for people to be suspicious. Now, this business of when he was governor, I never treated them this way. I always worked with them. Mr. President, if it weren't for the Republicans defeating your stimulus package 1 year ago of $16 billion of new government spending that you said was necessary to get the economy going, then you wouldn't be able to claim that the deficit's so much smaller because you would have ballooned it. So you owe the Republicans for that favor they did you. You wouldn't have NAFTA if it weren't for the Republicans. You had Newt Gingrich and a bunch of guys working close with you side by side when it was your traditional Democratic constituency that was leaving you high and dry. The big labor boys just abandoned you left and right. Gephardt on down said adios amigo. And it was your so-called Republican enemies and others in the Republican Party who saved and got you NAFTA, which is a good thing for this country and for you. And I think that there are clear signs that people are willing to work with this president. But here's a guy who, when it comes to compromise and so forth and so on things that are blatantly wrong, 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 won't compromise. Mr. President, that's you. And also this business that you worked with everybody when you were governor of Arkansas and that you never did anybody wrong like they're doing you wrong. You know, this is not the United States of dictators. You don't, just because you think you're morally superior, or just because you think you have a better idea, you don't automatically by fiat prevail. It is exactly what I said yesterday. This is a huge arena of ideas. Call it, if you want to get esoteric, call it this giant, huge conversation that's going on out there. And I hate to tell you, but there are a lot of people who don't agree with you. Remember, you only got 43% of the vote. There are a lot of people who don't agree. And it's quite possible that you should consider that you might be wrong, 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 wrong. And that if you detailed honestly what you wanted to do, rather than tried deception to get what you want, you might be surprised to find how many more people there are who want to say no, 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 no. There you have it. America's first known presidential whine-in. Want to hear it one more time? Play it one more time for the EIB audience, Mr. Mamone.
Why then are we confronted, this administration, with an opposition party that just stands up and says no, 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 no?
Right, you can also learn how to pound a table a little bit better if you listen to me.
When I was a Democratic governor and they had the White House, I constantly sought them out, engaged them in debate, offered to work with them on issues from education to welfare reform to crime to you name it. I never did them the way they are doing us in Washington, D.C. today. It is wrong, and it is not good for the United States of America.
Don't forget, the Democrats oppose you as much as Republicans have, Mr. President. Look at the numbers. Look at the votes. You know it.
I took the nation by a landslide, and we were rolling along. But now I'm flat on my backside, wondering where I went wrong. Well, I get a funny feeling every time I turn on the news. Oh no, yeah, there's no doubt about it, I got them whitewater blues. I got them whitewater blues. The press won't leave it alone. I got them whitewater blues, and I just want to go home. Well, Hillary says they're going to be okay. Just keep talking about health care and they'll go away. Oh, but meanwhile, I get them whitewater blues. Let me blow a little bit.
EIB. Rush Limbaugh Program. Distinguished American.
Water blues, I'm in a state of denial. This can't be happening. I got the whitewater blues. They're gonna put me on trial. I should have heard those files. That Hillary says that they don't have a clue. But if they catch me, buddy, she's going down too. Oh, they're getting to me. These nasty whitewater blues. Let me wrap this thing up. Oh man, I'm out of here in 96.
You're listening to the EIB Network. What was so damaging about the Whitewater file that caused Vincent Foster to lose his life the very day investigators were coming to remove it? In the new issue of the American Spectator on newsstands now, reporter James Adams reconstructs the likely secrets of Whitewater and uncovers a web of corruption that reaches from Arkansas to the highest office in the land. Adams reveals never-before published evidence of blatant political plundering that ruined innocent lives and cost the U.S. taxpayer $50 million. Call 800-453-2100 to subscribe to the American Spectator. For $34.95, you'll get 12 issues starting with this issue. Your first issue includes the White House rap sheet, which details 41 criminal statutes potentially violated by the Whitewater gang, with fines and jail terms included. If you call now, we'll send you free the David Brock report on Troopergate that rocked the nation. Call 800-453-2100. Don't wait for the independent counsel report. Discover the truth in the American Spectator now. Call 800-453-2100 today.
Monk's Furniture Warehouse in LaGrange has set the standard for saving, selection, and satisfaction. The Warehouse Way for over 10 years. From all over eastern North Carolina, customers save every day at Monk's Furniture Warehouse.
You come in, and I think you're going to be pleased with the down-home atmosphere that we have there. We've been here 10 years because of the customers that we have. We really appreciate that, and that's what made us successful.
Even after the sale, satisfaction is still the goal, with service from the store that saves you more the Warehouse Way every day. Monk's Furniture Warehouse.
We give good service on our product. If one of our customers has a problem, we want to know about it. When we find out about it, we're going to get them satisfied and get that product taken care of for them.
Monk's Furniture Warehouse in LaGrange. They thank you for your continued patronage for the next 10 years.
And I really want to extend a great appreciation to them for what they've done for us for the past 10 years.
Monk's Furniture Warehouse, Highway 70 between Goldsboro and Kinston at Little Baltimore.
At the Village Inn Pizza Parlor, they use only the finest ingredients available to turn out the best pizza possible. But the best just got better. For a limited time, you can take advantage of Village Inn's Takeout Special. 2 14-inch medium pizzas with 2 toppings on each, plus a 2-liter Pepsi for just $9.99. What a great family value. 2 pizzas, 2 toppings, and a 2-liter Pepsi to go for only $9.99. Village Inn Pizza Parlor, 503 North Berkeley Boulevard, where pizza is always in good taste.
You're searching for the best deal on a program car? Stop the search and head to Leith of Goldsboro today. Leith Chrysler, Plymouth Jeep Eagle, and Leith Dodge Isuzu has a lot of great deals for you. Leith has reduced the prices and increased the selection of program cars, like the 93 Dodge Shadows or Plymouth Sundances for $86.95 or as low as $138 a month. Leith Chrysler, Plymouth Jeep Eagle, and Leith Dodge Isuzu, Highway 70 West, Goldsboro. Tags tag and $138 dock fee or extra. Payments based on 20% down, cash or trade for 60 months at 7.95 APR.
WGBR.
And we are back, ready and able and eager to return to the phones to talk to Americans on the EIB Network, to Anacortes, Washington. And Alec, hello.
Hi, Rush.
How are you, sir?
Finally got a hold of you. I'm pretty amazed by that.
Well, I'm glad you got through.
Love to wake up to you. Usually I just chuckle at you or argue with the radio, but you made a comment last Friday that I couldn't let go without a comment of my own.
Oh, good.
You went on about the new policy of selling satellite data commercially.
Yeah.
And you represented it as a bad move. Well, I have been studying space for quite some time, and I believe it's quite a good move, because the Russians and the French and other entities are already doing it, and if we don't jump on that bandwagon, we're going to be left high and dry in that industry.
So you want to sell the means by which other nations can spy on us to them?
Yes, definitely. Well...